Good morning, good afternoon, and good evening. When you're tuned in, you're with Lady Business and Give It to the People Radio, where you're going to get enlightened, enhanced, empowered, and enriched. Make sure that you always tune in to Give It to the People Radio.
In space in Raleigh, asked me to be on her advisory board, and we decided that what we would do is give people an opportunity to kind of ask those questions. So we are taking it live to where it will be on Fanbase, and we were doing it webinar style. That wasn't really working out as well, but this way anybody can jump on, and like I told you, Fanbase can be monetized as well. So that'll be free this Sunday at 7 o'clock. So if you didn't get to check with me, then you could just jump on there and then you just ask your questions. Next month we're going to have Andrea Johnson, Dr. Andrea Johnson. She's in your book. She's unfortunately one of the people that got COVID, and that's why they're not here today. Fully vaccinated, boosted and everything, and COVID said it did not care, unfortunately. So that will give us opportunities to pull in some more mentors, especially with the different areas of focus that you guys are interested in. Now, what I'm going to do is wrap up today, because if you're going to take the time to use this calm method, then you need to figure out how to. I kind of was torn between using magnify and then also manifest, because I feel like both of those things are very powerful when it comes to you being able to do what you need to do for your goals. So if you will look in your book, you see that you have the resource agencies that are in there. You also have the grant information. You have the information for the women's business centers. For the hub certification, and you also have it for if a person was saying that they wanted to get the women's business owner certification. In there also, you have your puzzle. So one thing about just mental health in general, playing games, watching TV sometimes, doing those things like Mr. Brown talked about, taking a walk, these things can be stimulating in the right way, because now you're not thinking about what you need to do, you're just taking your mind off of it. So this has been one thing. I love to make these little puzzles. Feel free to do this little puzzle and see how many words you can get. I know how many words are in here, but you can play this at your leisure. You have crayons at your table as well. So you have 2 coloring sheets that are in here, and adult coloring is a real thing, a very lucrative business. And the craziest thing is, before it got really popular, inside of the 90-day focus, I had already put coloring pages in there. So, I'm trying to be a maverick out here in the streets. So I figured I'd give this to you so that this way you guys can color sometimes, because those things can definitely help. So my presentation is really about the 5 senses. And so I'm doing the 5 senses of business just to kind of give you perspective on some of the things that you want to think about this year. So if you get to the business senses, this will definitely be where we're going to be at for right now. And I really want you to think about this, because your business has different areas. When you look at it, if you took it and you looked at your business as an organism, right? So as people, we have those 5 senses. So when we talk about touch, what do you want people to touch with your business for 2022 and beyond? That is going to be something that is where they can go and they can pay you. That's where we touch. We want to touch and agree on the PayPal button, touch and agree on the Square button, touch and agree on the Venmo, touch and agree on the Cash App. We want to touch and agree on the direct deposit. That's what we want people to touch. And they can't touch if you don't give them a place to go. So I want to just give you some different places and some different areas that you can consider this year. One is for you to consider that sometimes, and I'm guilty of this, I have been anyway, that you may want to segment out certain things just so that this way you can see who's really interested. And so it can be multiple ways that you do that. And I've been playing around, finagling with a bunch of stuff over the last year just to see what I feel like is the most helpful. And one thing is technology just changing to make it easier for us to market, right? So creating a landing page where a person can touch and have one call to action can be something that's really important. Now, when you look at things, and I don't want you to write this one down, but something like lead pages, right? They make their money off of creating some type of funnel for you to be able to have one place for people to go to get one real piece of information, one call to action. But did you know that you can actually make websites, something simple, with Canva? Did you know that? So if you go to Canva and you want them to do that one thing, just do the one thing on Canva, and you can put a link in to where a person can then go to make that purchase, okay? To me, it's been an easier thing. I've been using it for my clients, specifically ones who have they don't want to update their whole entire website every time they need to do something, but they're having a webinar. So they just need you to know where that webinar is and where you can register for it. And what happens is, if you use something like Zoom or whatever you're using to do the webinar, they're gonna have a link there where you can go ahead and register. But if you wanna put the flyer in its full size, if you wanna describe it a little bit more and you wanna do it in its full size, you might not necessarily be able to just do all of that on Zoom. So you can put more content in there, because like on Zoom, when you go to register, is there a place for you to watch a video? Sometimes, depending on how they have a landing page, but you can create your own thing if you use Canva. And Canva's only $10 a month, so it's totally, completely worth the investment in doing something along those lines. The other thing I would encourage you to do this year, please, if you're using your Instagram now allows you to put the link inside of a story in Instagram. I have been able to increase, I don't even know, sales, listens, downloads, all of that across the board, because people can click on that link now and they can go exactly where you need them to go. But not just the link clicking, you can customize what the link says. And I need you to do that. So for instance, I like to use Bitly a lot to shorten my links, because most of my links are really long, right? So let's say I put something on Bitly and I want you to go to GIveItToThePeople.com/webinars. I can put that link in there. I can put GIveItToThePeople.com/webinars, or I could put a bit link in there, whichever one, it'll take you to the same place. But when I go into Instagram in the stories, underneath it gives you the portion where you can now customize it. So let's just say I say register for XYZ event, or I say shop now, buy such and such, or it's a holiday sale, it's a Valentine's Day sale, whatever it is, it gives you the ability to customize that. So start using that, because now you don't have to have 10,000 followers to have people be able to click on that link and touch and agree. So first sense of the year, we want them to touch that what? That button. Wherever the button is where you can get money, we want them to touch and agree. So start using your Instagram stories to do things like, okay, she just released some books on Amazon. Those books on Amazon can be you can put that link right there, and then people can listen to it. Does anybody have a podcast? Podcast people? Okay, so your podcast link can go in there and you can tell them to listen to your podcast. You could do this every day. You could do multiple stories in a day, but when you do those stories, have a link for people to be able to click, okay? Now, site, that's number 2, right? So what do you want people to see? What do you want them to see this year? And I think that one of the biggest things that we have to realize is that the video is just king. It's just taking over everything. So take into consideration that you can do videos in so many different ways, like Sierra does, where she does the voiceovers to the videos, and she just has, this is what's going on, short clips of videos. When you start doing your videos, listen, short clips. And I need you to understand, 1 second, 2 seconds, if you put enough of those together, they can make a really incredible video, right? So what a lot of people are doing, so I'm just going to give you a specific strategy, is let's say I'm up here and I'm talking, and on a video, I'm up here for 2 seconds and you can see me moving around. But then we take still shots the rest of the time and we put 15 of those together at 1 second a piece. When you put that whole video together, maybe it's 15, 30 seconds or whatever, but it makes a more creative looking video, okay? There's an app that you can use that a lot of people are using called VN. So if you want to check out VN, that's an app that a lot of the influencers are using. VN, yep, just the 2 letters VN. You could check with that, but you can use your Instagram. And this is what I want you to know. And Instagram is just, I don't know. I love Instagram. I don't know if it gives all of the return that I really want it to. But that's just because I just want them to pay me for being on Instagram. And they haven't decided to do that yet. So what I'm saying is you can, and a lot of people don't pay attention to this, go into Instagram, create the video, and download it. It just won't have any sound on it. And then you can put the sound in later, but you can do your voiceovers inside of there. So I'm saying if you have content, put it together, make it look more interesting, and then you can add sound in, you can talk over it later, but people want to see something, all right? And you know what they also want to see? They want to see that you're active on a regular basis. So please post regularly, okay? Now, regularly may be different to different people, but I'm going to give you an app that you can use that can help your life. Have you heard of Ifttt before? Anybody? No? APP H-I. All right? Where's Mr. Brown at? How did you like Appfee? Okay. There you go. Did you hear that? Okay, but because it saves so much time. So they have a paid version that you can get, and they have a free version. We decided to upgrade to the paid version because Appfee allows you to connect to that Facebook, to that Instagram, to the Twitter, to all of the different things, and it's actually quicker than a lot of the other apps that are there. But you can use it for free, and they'll give you a certain amount that you can, put in there. They'll even make suggestions for, some of your hashtags, and they'll save some of your posts, like if you need to reuse them again. But what I like is if you have a post that needs to be repeated on a regular basis, you could just pick the schedule. But then they also have it where they'll tell you the best time to post something. So you don't need to worry about when is that. If they tell you at 8:34 in the morning, then you can click that button and it'll post at 8:34. Because what it's doing is it's analyzing your account to show you when you should post based on when people are already paying attention to it. So that's what I would think of for sight. Now, hearing. How many of y'all want to start a podcast? Okay, you need to start a podcast. All right, people want to hear. And there are apps that you can use if you decide that you feel like you want to teach someone something. You can also take your voice, and if you go on Amazon, now I'm going to just tell you where it's at. It's ACX, so you can look up ACX if you feel like it. If you decided, look, I have a nice voice, and I would like people to hear my voice, but I don't necessarily want to even put out my own content, but I can read your book. And you can then start doing audio voiceovers for other people. There are more than enough ways for us to make money. And Mr. Brown says sometimes it's too much. Please calm down. Stop opening up accounts and doing things. But I am of the mind something gonna pop off, right? So I'm just of the mind that it didn't cost me anything to open this account. Okay, let's try something. He's like, why do you have so many accounts? And I'm just like, well, I'm going to use that one day, right? So I just want this to be the year where you find hopefully something that gives you enjoyment, but also something that makes you money. So if you decide you want to do voiceovers, you could definitely do something over there and read somebody else's book. But the biggest thing that I would say with hearing that is beneficial are two apps that I like to use. One is Headliner, okay? And what Headliner will do is it works with a lot of different apps now because they've started to integrate it. But if you do have a podcast, it can automatically take the podcast and create you a video where you can have the words on the screen if you decide you want captions. If you do present a podcast, it can also, every time that you put out a new episode, it can automatically make you snippets. But this is how you can use it if you don't have a podcast. If you just record your voice and you have that MP3 up there, okay, because that's what the recording of your voice is, and you upload that into Headliner, they even have it where it's little video vignettes that it can make you. So let's say, I'm just going to use Will for example. He has a picture of there, he's standing there looking doctorial, right, doing his doctor thing, trying to put people to sleep, right, and reduce their pain. And he has this great picture, right, that he happened to take at this event called Give It to the People Small Biz Summit. And so he takes this picture, and that's what he wants to use, and he wants to put out messages that are motivational on a regular basis. How long does it take you to say something motivational? A couple of seconds, right? So if he wants to use this picture, and let's say every week he wants to put out a motivational Monday kind of quote, then he'd be able to do that. And it would take him a couple of seconds to actually create that. The picture would already be inside a Headliner, and he just needs to upload the actual sound, and then it will create him one whole video, okay? So if you want to create more, it's not necessarily about you having to be on camera all the time. It's not about you having to have your face done and your hair done all the time, because I know that that's not the case, all right, because it's just not. So you can create video. People can see things, but they can also hear it, and then it makes you look really great because it's nice and professional. And the thing that I like about it too is you can automatically change the sizes in there. So if you needed to make it a profile picture size, if you needed to make it a square, then you can go ahead and you can change those sizes inside a Headliner. And the other one that I really do like to use is Otter, and I'm sure people have heard me talk about Otter before, but it's otter.ai, so OTTER.ai. And Otter, you can go in there and you can record your voice, right? But what Otter's going to do is it's also going to transcribe it. So who's been wanting to write a book? I don't know what book. I don't know how long it's going to be. Okay. Now, there's a saying in the old people community. I'm going to say mature people community, all right? Because I remember coming down here when I was a kid, because all of my family is from here. And have you ever heard if you can you can hear? Okay, see, that's what I knew y'all was my people, right? So that saying is the same thing. If you can you can hear. If you can talk, you can start to make content, which means you can write that book and you can make things a lot easier. Now, it depends on how you decide that you do want to put that content out, because people will listen now. So if you decide, listen, I want to put my voice out there and I want to sell it, you can sell your voice. You can sell these things and tell people what they need to know. Because how many people are in their cars every day going back and forth? How many people are listening to podcasts? People will buy content that they can hear. So think about that. All right, now, smell. I want this year to smell prosperous, okay? What does prosperity smell like to you? Anybody tell me what it smells like? Huh? It smells like shmoney. He said it smells like shmoney. What's prosperity? See, Sierra done got him, right? What's prosperity sound like to you? What's it smell like? It smells like the ocean. Okay. What smells like what? Fresh. Mint. Okay, I like that, all right? So this year, I want you to think about how you can make people understand how awesome your business is, all right? And so if it smells like money to you, if it smells like those other things, think about things that you want people to say about your business and create that as if they could smell it, all right? And I know that may sound a little bit crazy, right? But if you use descriptive words, that will help people to really smell the essence of your business. So if you look inside your kit, I put in some words that you may want to consider. And I also put it in 3 different areas. Hold up. Boop, 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 boop. So our power words. Now, I put in 3 different sets of implications. So if you're trying to imply security and stability, which would be like Kelly's business, right? Then those would be some things that you could tell people that they can feel the essence. They can kind of smell what you're cooking, right? If you're looking for urgency because you need them to do this now, then there's some words in there for urgency. And then if you're talking about, which a lot of you are, transforming somebody, changing them, changing their mindset, there's some words in there. Now, what I would like for you to do is take those words and then you can use those with the content that you put out. And even if you want to use every one of them, use every one of them, but just consider that, right? And so I'm going to tell you where smell takes effect, and this is something specific that is working. How many of you send out emails regularly? How regularly is regularly? Once a month. What else? What is this sound that sounds like Scrabble, Scrabble, Scrabble? I'm talking about, yeah, if you're literally marketing. All right, I'm going to tell you something. It can be super difficult to wrap your mind around putting together an email on a weekly basis. But what I've seen is when I increase the amount of emails, and I've been saying I was going to do this for the longest, when I increased the amount of emails, it increased attendance at things. It increased people buying stuff just because they can see it regularly, okay? So what I would say for you, you want them to smell this business, you have to toot your own horn. I tell people this every time I do a summit. There is something that is important about your business. There's something you've learned every week. So even if you want to do, I like to do, it could be a word from our editor, depending on how you want to call yourself, a word from the curator, thoughts from such and such, however you want to do it. But if you were to take your email and break it down into these 5 senses of the things that you want people to see, you could definitely increase the amount of people that see you, that hear you, that feel what you're putting out there, and that would be something that you can see a return on immediately, right? So for me, it's classes, it's people registering for things. And sometimes the thing is you put stuff out and you're like, is anybody gonna get this? And it's like, oh, And then it's like, yay, as soon as somebody makes the purchase, right? Because it may not happen immediately. But what I know is if you're planning as far enough in advance, people will still spend money. It just may be that that week that you sent it out wasn't a pay week. It might be that something crazy happened. But when they continue to see it repeatedly, it does make a difference. And this is coming from a person who loves I put cheeks in the seat to do the things I like to do, okay? How many people do that? You like to do these things, so you do those. But then the stuff that you don't like to do gets thrown to the back burner, and you really don't do it like you need to. So if you sit down and you think about, what do I need people to know over the next 90 days? You're only talking about 12 emails. Doesn't that sound much easier? So sit down and think about, what are my 5 senses that I want people to know? So if you kind of take that concept, then you can create the content that goes with it. You can create a header. That's probably, whatever you're going to use for your logo or picture yourself. And then that's consistent. You don't have to worry about that. Your footer is going to be consistent because you're still going to be the same business at the same place with the same social media, right? But what needs to happen each week is you want to make more money. So when you sit down and you do 3 months worth, if you schedule them, now you got 3 months worth of stuff done. And then you can also share the link to the email so people can go back and read the email again. And when I started doing that, not let me just send out the email to the people that are on the email list, but let me continue to ask people to join the email list, and let me put the actual email inside of the Instagram stories. Let me put the email inside of whatever social media. And I did screenshots, I did screen recordings, different things. It increased the amount of people, it increased the rate of open. And so I'm telling you, because I was like, I'm going to do it for so long. And now it's been consistent over the last 3 months. And it has proven to be really worth its weight in gold. So I'm just telling you that there are things that you can do that will increase. And I think that that's one of them. Okay. So now taste. I want you to taste some success. So I want you to think about a certain amount this year that you feel like you want to increase. And I don't know if it's a particular product, a particular service, if it's something new that you're thinking about, if it's something that wasn't selling previously that you're like, this should have sold. I don't see why it didn't. It could be the title of something. Okay? And you need to retitle things. If you have a product and it's a really great product and the name just is not doing what it needs to do, you can always test it out by changing the name. You can also increase a price. Did y'all hear me? Increase a price. It's amazing that you were doing things at a certain rate, and then once you increase them, it changed, and you didn't necessarily know or think that, okay, well, are people going to pay it? And you don't have to make a big announcement to increase the price. I just went one day and I was like, yeah, so the one-on-ones, they were 100. I would like to make them 150. Did not tell anybody. Just went ahead and increased it. And then the post that I put out said, hey, you need some business counseling? I'm just giving you like a synopsis, right? And then all of a sudden, people started booking, right? And I didn't, and the people didn't have a problem paying the increased price, and I didn't even need to tell anybody anything. So I'm saying to you that what has continually happened when you continually give good service is people are watching. Okay, so if you give them, right, something that tastes good, which is your style, which is you consistently being there. And I know consistency is one of the things that we don't want to necessarily hear, but I promise you it does work. The problem is you haven't taken the time to break it down. So this is your content and flow. This is for you to do. And it's not filled out because everybody has different marketing and social media that they do. But I'm saying that you have a main media outlet that you work with. Whatever your main thing is that you do, your favorite one that you like, the place that most of the customers are at, then you can start to break it down as to what you should do with it afterwards, right? And so you can make the category titles and then kind of tell yourself what you need to do. Down on the bottom where you have like 8 through 15, you can decide on the days that you want to market and the content that you want to put out. And I promise you, it is so much easier when you start to say, I'm going to do this on this day, and you just schedule it. Life is so much easier. So Mondays are for such and such. So for me, every Monday is Real Ass Affirmations. It comes out at 6 o'clock in the morning. It's done. Put it out. I need a graphic, I need a description, right? When I put it up on the site, it's gonna give me a link, and then those things go out. But one thing that we do that will start back next week too, is every day we put out an affirmation. So if I sit down and Mr. Brown does that. He does the affirmations, right? So when Mr. Brown does the affirmations, he's going to sit down, cheeks in the seat, and he's going to schedule at least 90 days worth of affirmations. Every morning the affirmation is going to come out. I don't need to worry about an affirmation coming out, right? If you would like to hire, we are available, okay? Just FYI, because what I know though is you thought about it, you had ideas, you did it for a little bit, and then it was like, oh, okay, and then it was gone, right? So the problem is it's not that you don't know this stuff, it's just sometimes new things come along and something is better or something's more efficient, or this is where the new people are at, and you're steady trying to chase after some stuff, and you got to realize that there are people that have been with you that have been there for a long time, and what we need, this is the key word for this part, is to reactivate people. That's it. We just need to reactivate the people. They already liked you. They already joined your email list. They were already following. So this is what I want you to do. Very specific. I want you to write what they call a canned message, okay? I don't know how long it's going to be because this is your message, but it doesn't need to be more than 2 paragraphs, right? Which at most is like 8 sentences. So, hey, just wanted to let you know, blase, this is what's going on with the business, would love your feedback if you're going to do something like a survey, right? Or you can just let them know, hey, we have some stuff, new products, this is what we want, whatever it is that you're trying to sell. Reactivate those people, and you could do one that's just something simple like, this is what's happened, and it's really easy to do this right now, where it's a recap of what happened in 2021, okay? I don't know what your milestones are. I don't know how many new clients you got. I don't know how many people you serve, but Ashley was a perfect example of that. When she sent that recap of her year, and she was like, I served 555 people. Well, it's probably more than that as far as people are concerned, but I had 555 bookings that went through. Like, that is something amazing and astonishing to be able to look at. You have stats that you're not telling anybody about, okay? So what are your stats? What are those things that are important that you need people to know? When you sit down, like over this last time, I went back, this is where you can find it. If you've ever taken pictures and you have a Gmail account, Google has all your pictures. Google has all your videos. I went back and looked through stuff, and I'm just like, I am dope. Like, look at all of this stuff that I did. Like, who is this chick? And then I was just like, I can't wait till January 7th so we can stunt again, right? Like, it was just one of those things where I'm like, you have done so much. And I may tell people certain things, but there are plenty of things that I don't tell people that I've done also. You have done a lot. So when you take inventory of how many people you helped each month, that's something simple to be able to report some stats on, right? And then that can be your wrap-up email for each month, right? So when you think about it, what happens is we get really active when it is time to sell season, because it makes us feel like we need to push because everybody else is pushing too. So Christmas makes you feel like you got to get it done because it's the end of the year. It's January now. What do you think? People just don't have money? Everybody didn't spend all of their money at Christmas. Okay? Somebody has money to pay you right now, but you didn't send them anything, so they forgot that they had money to send you. But the person that did send them something, the person that was posting consistently, got your money, right? And so I follow people that do even more than me, because then I'm like, oh, she just posted again? Well, I want to say a bad word. Babe, okay, did you just post again? What are you putting out? God, right? And so I like to do that because I'm like, oh, let me get my game together. I don't believe she just posted again. But this is the thing that I've looked at. Some people make ridiculous amounts of money just being them. That's it. So if you decide that you are enough and that you should get paid just for being you, for all of the knowledge you have, for the great products and the services that you have, sometimes it's just showing people that. And I think that we just don't share enough. And I'm not telling people to be in your private personal business, but when you start to look at the senses, that's what people want, because it's a real person that's behind this business. So let them know those things. Now, I'm not telling you that you have to let people know all your trials and tribulations either, because I see some people, I'm not going to name names, because they're not in this room for sure. But like every post is woe is me. I do not want to support your woe is me business. I do not. I am tired of looking at your sad life. No, right? Sad things happen. Bad things happen. But there should be something good to celebrate every day, right? It's a lot of people that are not here with us. And I think COVID is definitely showing us this. So now, what is important? Now, I'm going to shout out somebody who, she's out of control with the way she just celebrates, okay? Alana with Kanye. Have y'all seen her and this dog, honey? Kanye is fundraising his life away, okay? Like, I mean, so she uses the dog in the marketing with the stuff that she's doing, right? And I don't think Kanye is really doing anything at the house. I don't know. He looked like he just get treats and kisses, right? But if that's what he does, that's what I'm saying, right? So now, Kanye is the one that's really over there getting money. And I think it's cool now, too, since Kanye changed his name to Ye. So this way, you know, you just use that. But I'm just saying, when you have something that's unique about you and something that's interesting, use those things in order to be able to give people a sense of what your business is. Because once they get that sense of it, then they can spend those cents and they can spend those dollars. And they can spend them direct deposits, and then they can be on retainer, you know what I'm saying? And then they subscribe to something. So I just want us to really say, okay, what are some of the things that we can do? And when we break it down, it's a lot easier than you think it is, all right? So now, can somebody tell me what time it is? See, I plays no games. Look in my head. Okay, can you give me my phone real quick? So what I want to do is I want to drop some resources that you can put into this part so that this way you can see about some things for designing your graphics. Now, I love Canva, but I got a couple more things that are out there. If you're going to use Project Manager, I'm just going to kind of jump around because I'm going to tell you what's on my mind, and then I'm going to look at my little list. But for project management, a lot of people like to use Asana. And that's one of the most popular ones, but I have a list of random tools that I've been collecting just for this. So let me see. Okay. This is going to go in the project management section, but you just have to use it a certain way. So have you ever wanted to create like assessments for people so that this way then they can come out with kind of like an answer that you want them to arrive at? So there's a tool. If you go to app.assessmentgenerator.com, and that can be something that can be helpful for you. For graphic design, check out Easil, EASIL.com. These are not in order. I'm just telling you, like, it's in order on the paper, but they're not in order in my phone. Say that one more time for Easil. EASIL.com. And I'm just giving you some extra stuff because you might get bored with Canva. You know what I'm saying? Like, if you use it enough, you've seen somebody else with your same design, and all they did was change the name and the color. I mean, you have, right? So I like to go on Canva for inspiration, and I try to change up stuff and then come up with my own things. But, you know, it's Canva. If you want to create quizzes, so this goes back into kind of like the project management area, it's one called tryinteract.com. So TRYINTERACT.com. Boom, 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 boom. Now, this one is going to go into the designing graphics area. You know how sometimes your photos and things are too big and it sucks up a lot of space? Like, especially if your website is trying to load. Go to image, but it's IMG and the number 2, go.com. And this will help you compress those photos so that this way it'll help you with that load speed as well. Okay, let me see. Now, this one's going to be really fun for, I'm going to put this in the video editing area, but it's not technically a video, but you can use it kind of as a video depending on where you put it. So if you decided that you wanted to make some GIFs, or I guess I should say GIFs, even though I don't know, if it's pronounced GIF, why didn't you just put a J in the front instead of a G? But the actual pronunciation is GIF. So there is an app that's called Gicker, but it's GICKR. And then there is one that's GIFPal, so it's GIFPAL. And then check out Make a GIF, so MakeAGIF. And that can help you with some GIFs. Okay, hold on, let me find GIFs. Okay, we looked over there. Thank you. Nope. Okay. All right. For building your website, I would suggest a couple of things. I always suggest Zipster. That's where my website is at, and they're cool, and they're based in Greensboro, woman-owned, small-owned business, but it's ZIBSTER. Z as in zebra, ZIBSTER. They're here local in Greensboro. But also I can say that Wix has done a lot of improvement since I left Wix a couple of years ago. And I would tell you to definitely look at Wix because it is a lot easier now than it used to be, and they have a lot of functionality that they didn't have previously. You still do have to do some plugins for certain things, but it can be a really great place for you to build something and have something that looks great quality-wise. All right, now let's jump in here. For the mobile phone editing, let me pull it up. I have a million apps on my phone. All right, so I'm going to give you this. It's called AutoCap, and you could just type in AutoCap. The logo is green, and the words are white on it. But if you wanted to put in the captions in your picture or your videos, and then you put the video up, it can help you just put those captions in ahead of time. And I know you can upload a video and put it into Instagram and do that, but what if Instagram is not your major thing and you just want to have captions on your videos real quick? So AutoCap is definitely a good one for that. Let me see. Boop, boop, boop. No, that's for video. Are we on video? No, we're photo editing. Where are you? What is the name of it? Hold on. My mind has 30 things running through it, but I don't see where the app is. And I want to tell you the right thing. Go back to the beginning. Oh, Lightroom. What am I thinking about? Okay, so Lightroom, if you ever had a picture that's too dark, too light, you need to up it, you need to down it, you might want to turn it black and white. Lightroom is really, really great for editing, and they have a free version, and then they have a paid version as well. And who is it? They changed their name. That's why I'm having a problem finding what I'm looking for. So Adobe Creative, it's now called CC Express. So if you look and you're looking for the app, then I would check that out. So before, when I used to tell people Adobe Spark, it's now CC Creative. So that would be one to look at. And the other thing that people don't pay attention to, Vista Create. So Vistaprint that you would get your business cards from and stuff. Vista Create has some really awesome templates and stuff in there that you can do some editing, but you can also create some graphics inside of there. And then for the social media scheduling, this is when I was saying that you could definitely use Ifttt because it's really, to me, one of the best things. But you can also schedule stuff inside of Facebook, and it can share now to also your Instagram, and you can do that for free without you spending any money. If you're looking for something that has a great blog and great content, I would look for Planoly, so Planoly, and they have a really great blog that they do on a regular basis. So those would be some really great things to be able to help you to really expand your brand going into the new year. And so there are so many apps and so many different things that you can use. I can give you a million different ones and tell you, okay, this one does that, that one doesn't do something, but it's about which direction you're going to put your content in and what you decide that you want to use. So you have to really kind of think about that, and then you find the application that does it, right? So if I give you the app, but then you're like, okay, well, I don't have any content to go there, then it's not going to be as helpful to you. So think about, okay, well, this is my main place that I want to market from, and based on that, then I need to do things in a certain particular order. Now, the other ones that I love to use too are If This Then That, which I'm sure plenty of you have used, so ifttt.com for scheduling. It's easy, especially if you're going to have messages that are going to be repetitious, like follow me, subscribe to my blog, join my newsletter, because you can kind of set it and forget it. And as long as you continue to post, then it will continue to put out the content that you told it to put out. So just think about using your resources so that this way, if you took, let's just say 1 day a month and you sat down and you did your content planning, you won't have to worry about being stressed the whole rest of the time, but you're just going to have to take that time out in order to make it happen. And it may seem like, oh, I don't have that time, but you're going to use it in a different way anyway. So if you really take the time and say, no, I'm going to block this out, I don't care. You could brunch it and be at the house and get a bunch of friends together and everybody creates content all at one time. This is what I've learned though. Could you get cute like 1 day a week, handsome like 1 day a week? So create your content for the whole week in 1 day if you need to do that, because a lot of you may not have as much time. You might have kids. If you have kids, raise your hand. Okay, is anybody working their job and doing their business part-time? Okay, so then that means you got to go to work and then you come. Is anybody doing their business completely full-time and they don't have another source of income, right? So then that means, what? That you have to work. It's not like a whole downtime thing. But this is what I can say for us for the Calm method. The problem really is that you feel like you can't take a break, that you feel like you have to keep going all the time. Let me tell you something. If you take a break and you feel bad, it's okay if the day after that or the day after that, you work your ass off and you get it done. That's just what it is. So it's been days where I'm like, look, I know I'm supposed to be doing such and such. I do not feel like it. What I feel like is this snack and this drink and this nap. That's what I feel like. And what I'm going to do is this snack and this drink and this nap, and I see if I feel like it when I get up. My schedule over since we got back from the little cross-country tour that we just took, I'm going to just tell them my business. Is it okay? We've been going to bed at like 2:30 in the morning every night. I get up, around 4 or 5 o'clock in the morning because my body gets me up. I work till maybe 6 or 7 o'clock, and I go back to sleep, and then I get back up, and then I work the rest of the time that I feel like I want to work. And if I don't feel like I don't want to work, then I don't work. So I may work, like by the time that people would normally be doing their things around 1 o'clock, I'm tired. I need a nap at 1 or 2 o'clock because I didn't go to bed till 2:30. I already got up and worked 2-3 hours. So by the time that 1 o'clock comes around, I am pooped. I'm like, listen, you want some lunch? Let's get some lunch and go to sleep. I need a nap. Like, I just need a nap. But then I'm going to get up, and I might get up at whatever o'clock, and I'm going to work till 10, 11, or 12 o'clock. But if that works for me, then that works for me right now. If you get to the point where you feel bad about taking time for yourself, you're not going to be as productive. So take the time that you need, but recognize that you will need to do some things. How many of you feel like you are most productive when you're not at home? Some people? Then guess what you need to do? You need to find a co-working space. Sheena, raise your hand, okay? You need to get out of the house, and you need to go somewhere else to do that. And I mean, you can go to the Panera Breads and stuff and all of the rest of that, but then you're going to pay $30 for a sandwich and a beverage, okay? Pack your stuff and go on over to Sheena's, right? Like, those are the things that you have to take into consideration. Even if you work from home and you're most comfortable there, you may need to clean up your area, get rid of some stuff so that you can feel worky again, right? I don't know what you need to do, but I am a big believer in finding what's going to work for you and sitting down and actually taking the time to schedule it. So like, I already know what I need to do next week because I know what I didn't do this week, right? And so that's really what I want to tell you. If you're going to magnify what you already have, you have to realize that you have to do the things you don't want to do at some point in time. And that's really what we got to do. Do the things you don't want to do, and then it'll become easier and it'll become second nature for us to be able to start to schedule things out and get on people's agendas and keep our businesses flowing like they need to. All right. So can y'all do that? Can you do what you want to do at your pace? And I want to throw this in. And I've been saying this over at least the last year. You looking at somebody else's life on social media will make you feel like you're not doing enough. It really just will, right? Like, it's some people I'm like, I want to go on vacation every day. Like, your pictures are amazing. And I'm just like, but I can't go on vacation every day. That's just not my life, right? That's not the job that I have built for myself. That's not the career that I have. So you have to say, in the time that I can do things, it may be a delayed thing, but I'm going to be able to do something that I want to do at some point in time, but I need to make money in between there, right? And so those connections, like LaShawn was talking about, the knowing what you don't know and what you need to know, that's where we're at right now. Figure out what you need to know, find out who knows it, schedule your things, and then proceed accordingly so that this way we can be abundant in this new year. Sounds good?
Thank you so much for listening to Give It to the People Radio. Make sure that you follow us online at ladybusiness.com, LadyBizness. We look forward to helping you grow, sustain, and maintain your business.